Hey guys, welcome back to Apex Minds. Now, it's that time of the year. People are starting to think about new jobs, but how are you going to get them? Let me teach you.
Upgrades.
So, interviews, they're always scary. It doesn't matter what level you get to. It just depends on how you handle them. Now, you've got to go into an interview with the actual thought that this could be your future job, your future role, your career, the job that takes you to that next level. And you have to be as respectful for them as you expect respect from them. So, look, when you are going into this meeting, if you have not prepared, you have already prepared to fail. So, let's take a step back. Before the interview, what should you do? Now, the first step, if you haven't done it already, is go onto this company's social media pages, see what's going on, see what the flow is like, the activity, see what the people are like. You can really get an instinct for a company by checking out their social media pages. Now, lots of companies like to put up posts about parties and about new projects going on. Take note of these, see where you could fit into these new projects down the line, and then when you're in this interview, these are questions you can ask. You can really put yourself in a scenario and say, hey, in 3 years' time, this project here, where do you expect it to be and how could I fit into this? Because this is the route I would like to go down. And this way you're building your own career. If you turn up to an interview unprepared, they are basically going to judge you on the first 3 seconds you walk in, and that's all they've got, because the rest of it is the same repetitive information that every other employee has said while sitting in that same chair. Oh, what are you into? What are your hobbies? No, you need to take control of this meeting. You need to ask them, what can you do for me? You can only do this by knowing what they're up to. So step one, checking out their social media pages and really getting your eyes into their company, seeing what's going on. And make sure as well you're keeping up to date on their company updates on their actual page as well. The website's a great page where they talk about future things that they may be doing and successes in their past. It's always a good question as well, if you've seen they've had recent successes, is to ask them, how did you do that? What was involved? What were your thoughts at the beginning of that project and how did you manage to get to the end? Were there changes? Were there obstacles? And were there hurdles? Who was involved in fixing them? The deeper you can dive into this business, the deeper your roots are going to be held during that interview. After that interview, if you've asked the most intriguing questions, of course they're going to think of you first. They want someone on their side that's intuitive and ready to go. And if you can prove this during an interview, you're just going to be one step ahead of everyone else. So step one, check out the social media pages, check out their company website, see what projects they're planning to do, see what projects they've completed, and get to know these projects, because you want to look like you are knowledgeable. And if you go in there acting like a salesman that already works for them, imagine what you could do in a year's time with the training and implementation they've got ready for you. Now, step two, introducing yourself. Now, all the greats will say you need to go in there, firm handshake, look them directly in the eye. Yes, as much as this is true, it doesn't need to be this obnoxious. Look, I have a disability in my arm here, nerve damage. I can't shake someone's hand. I've been in business for over 25 years and I can go into a room and meet with everybody, but I can't give them a firm handshake. I'm sorry, it's not built into me. Doesn't mean I'm a bad businessman, does it? Because I can't shake someone's hand? No, not at all. I appreciate it. You know, I go in and people see it as a difference and they say, ah, interesting. It'll be interesting to know why or how this incident's happened. So don't hold yourself back. If you can't go in, shake someone's hand, or if you haven't got the confidence to look them directly in the eye, the best thing you can do is be open and honest with people. Walk into the room, I say, hey, nice to meet you. I would shake your hand. I've got nerve damages, apologies. And it opens up room for conversation straight away. So if you're not even confident enough to look them in the eye, have that in the conversation. Say, hey, look, I really want this job. I know I'm not as confident as I could be, but I see this as a great place as a stepping stone for me to learn this confidence and really be part of something bigger. Just opening yourself up and showing people you're willing to learn just puts you so far ahead of other candidates, because everyone wants a job nowadays, but nobody's prepared to research about how to get a job. But you're watching this video, which means, you're on the right path, and I'm excited to help you get there. So I really hope you can use these tips and actually utilize them in your interview to full potential. So let's go for step 3 now. Once you're in the room, you're sat down. What do? Do you wait for the questions to come? No. You're human. They're human. What would you say if you sat down opposite your dad or your mum? How are things? How are you? How has your day been? It's very simple. It's quite easy to start a conversation, but people get so nervous because they think people are expecting a show, a parade. You're going for an interview. They do not expect you to be Keanu Reeves walking into the room. Come on, guys. We're all human. We've all got our skill sets and we all have our limitations. But the best thing about skill sets is you can improve them. And if you are just open about improving yourself and saying, I want to use this as a place to improve my knowledge, most people are going to look at that as a major advantage over someone who walks in cocky, arrogant and says, I know everything, I know how to do this, let's do it. No, they want somebody that can grow with the business, mold around the bends and turns. So be that person, tell them you're willing to learn, you're willing to take the steps needed to be where you want to be in life, and you see this job as part of those steps. So be honest with them. Trust me. Step 4, negativity. Now this is something that you will want to leave at the door or at home or even in bed, or just get rid of it completely, because negativity is frowned upon in every aspect of my life, to be honest, but in an interview, ridiculous. If somebody comes into an interview with me and starts talking bad about things they've gone through or the past companies they've worked for, rings alarm bells in my head that this person is not accountable for their actions and they're blaming every step on previous employers, previous members of organizations that have been the sabotager, the person that has ruined their opportunities. No. If somebody asks me, how was the last company you worked for? No matter how bad the company may have been, I will tell them what I learned from working with this company, the hurdles I overcame with this company, and the new skill sets that I had to develop at this company. But I would never sit there and down talk my old managers, my old company, their operations or the way they did things, because nobody wants that. Nobody wants the risk of sending you off as a future employee somewhere else down talking their business and their partners. No, you need to be accountable for your actions. So for example, if I used to work in a grocery store and that grocery store didn't pay me on time, didn't have enough staff, so I had to do all the extra duties. Maybe they didn't pay me enough sometimes. Maybe they cut my pay short. I'm not going to moan about that to my future employer. I'm going to say, oh, I had struggles at this company, but I managed to overcome them with a positive mindset. I learned how to be adaptive and how to be constructive as well. If there were issues at hand, I raised my voice and I spoke to people about it in a manner of professionalism. Let's not start shouting at people. Now, step 5, body posture. This is one of my favorite hacks that I'm about to disclose here, but for anybody that's about to take an interview, I promise you this is one of the best. Now, being a nervous guy when I was younger, I used to play with my fingers all the time. If I had a pen, spinning it around like mad, doing the old clicky click. No, stop that, get it, chuck it out the window. What you want to do is mimic your interviewer. So every movement they make, be conscious about it, mimic it back, because not only will this make you more present and more aware of what's happening in the moment, it will also make you seem confident and share the same energy. They will feel more connected to you because of the movements, because they can feel the reciprocation of energy. It's a crazy hack, but trust me, brilliant if you're just trying to be confident and trying to perceive yourself in a confident light. And in interview stages, this is perfect to do. Obviously, if there's a room of 3 or 4 different people, don't be mimicking everyone, but sense the person who's giving you the most energy and try and replicate that and give it back. Step 6, the follow-up. Okay, so after your interview's all said and done, you've asked all the interesting questions, you've shown you're confident and willing to learn, they've left you, and now you're waiting. What do you do? So after the meeting, send a follow-up email to the hiring manager. Maybe even include a quick summary of the meeting and the things you spoke about, but more importantly, just say thank you for your time and you look forward to hearing from them. It goes a long way to show how interested you are in a job, as there are so many people that apply for jobs, it seems to, for the sake of just applying for jobs, and they're too hesitant to reach out after. You have to follow up, and if you're applying for most roles, they'll appreciate that follow-up. They'll appreciate that dedication and that you've shown interest. So make sure you follow it up with a lovely email just to show them how interested you are. Thank you to everyone who made it this far. It shows you are ready and dedicated for this job, and I hope you get it. I really do. If you're putting in this much passion and work into gaining this interview, I'm sure you will. And if you don't, it's only a learning curve. Don't worry about it. But guys, thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
It's him.
The anomaly. Do we proceed? Yes, he is still
Only human.